If you can't open your chakras, that's fine. If you can't visualize, that's fine. If you can't read the tarot, it's all right. It's hard. If you can connect to your heart and feel that state of excitement and enthusiasm and thankfulness and gratitude, that is enough to create miracles. The more of us that do it more frequently, that puts you in that energetic groove that will make amazing things magnetize to you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert.
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
And this is the Haute Hustle Mystic Morning Show. Today we're talking with top psychic Imbal Hannigan, and we are going to play with some witchcraft, manifestation, and we even want to talk a little bit about where she foresees humanity going.
Yay. Our space weather news. In today's Mystic Space Weather News, we have some interesting stuff going on. So the really interesting thing that's going on right now is that there's an eerie quiet of 10 sunspot groups that are all week long. 10 to 12 sunspot groups have peppered this solar disk, so our sun, and this would be normally this would be a recipe for high solar activity. However, these sunspots have been relatively quiet. Could it be the calm before the storm? Let me talk about this for just a second. A couple of days ago, I sent this article over to Jeneth, and it said the sun is waking up. So NASA confirms just a couple days ago in an article, they said that the scientists have found that the sun is actually waking up. And if you've heard me talk about this on the show, I have been saying that we are already in a solar maximum. Traditionally, a solar maximum, or our wanes and our lows and highs, go for about 10 to 11 years. They last over a decade and they go like this. So why does it matter to us? The reason why it really matters to us is that during times of a solar maximum, which is what we're in right now, and traditionally, I was going to say after a solar maximum, so we'll hit a peak. And then traditionally, we start to come back down off of that solar maximum. So they thought that we had our peak back in May. So y'all remember those big solar storms that I kept talking about. We also had a lot of earthquakes during that time. But the thing about this particular thing is like, why do we care about a solar maximum? During the times of solar maximums in traditional history, and data shows that during solar maximums, we tend to be humans be like very unrestful. We get very anxious, and big things have happened. 9/11 has happened during a solar maximum. So you might be feeling that throughout the atmosphere. You might be feeling that in your friends and some of the interactions that you have. It's not just made up. These are also things that are happening to the bugs, to the birds, to everything is based upon the magnetic field. Yeah. And so everything is going to be a little more heightened. So when we're looking at the peak, and you're thinking that we're going to come down, now NASA is finding that the sun is actually waking up from that peak. So we are actually, what they thought we were going to be in a decline, they found that we are actually in a different or bigger time period where we're actually waking up. That's as cool. Opposed to going down. Yeah. I don't know if it's that cool, because the biggest thing is that we have to worry about is the Carrington event that happened back in the 1800s that took out all of the communications. If that happened again today with a big solar flare, it would definitely take out the GPS. It would definitely take out some of our electrical grids. We would literally be in the dark. Y'all remember when we had that big outage that happened from Cloudflare that took everything down from the internet? That could be our fate if we don't watch out. So again, just be mindful of the news. Watch out. Make sure if you have some solar powered, I don't know, get generators. I'm not sure exactly what to tell you, but also just mind yourself, right? So know that everything can be a little bit heightened. Know that scientists don't always know what to predict when it comes to solar weather. And you really decide for yourself, where is my true north? So asking yourself, can I be more calm? Can I be more resonant? And then I always say, give yourself water, get out grounding, and give yourself grace. Yep. And that's what I got for Mystic Space Weather News.
I have a little morning brew with Woo.
What happened?
Actually, my daughter is studying for the manicure exam, and I'm helping her with mini flashcards.
Fun.
We came across one of how do you dispose of acetone.
Okay.
And I freaked out when my daughter said, pour it down the sink.
I've totally done that.
And I'm like, it's like medicine. You can't pour medicine down. There's these big warning labels.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put coffee grounds down the
I didn't know
sink.
that. I did that this morning.
And
It was like a little
you
bit.
know,
though.
I
didn't until she was telling me right now.
anyway, I don't know that everybody does know this. I studied nutrition and we learned a lot about waste disposal because that is a part of the ecosystem, especially when it comes to plants and fertilizer and all the stuff. Yeah, you got to learn all the biology that goes with it, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I really picked up was our wastewater literally goes back in a plant and it gets recycled. They don't take out the things that people can actually consume. They're taking out things like pathological disease stuff. So you're not supposed to do that. So you can't pour it down the sink. What are you supposed to do with it? Basically, put it down the toilet. Dude, that's the same thing.
It sounds like me. That sounds like me. Okay.
So there is a certain way of disposing of these kind of chemicals, and it includes a lot of paper towels usually. And actually putting it in the garbage.
Okay.
So just so you know, I thought as a public awareness thing for the health of our entire world and humanity, that maybe it would be important for me to just take this platform and inform just a few more people of this important thing to me.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And I promise I will put my grounds in a paper towel going forward.
Yeah, or just the trash. You could just put it directly in the trash.
Yes.
Don't waste the paper.
That's probably true. Thank you. And we are all about sustainability and building for a new earth here.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right.
Without further ado,
let's talk witchcraft. Yeah. Imbal, you are muted. Thank you. You are muted.
And while you're bringing her up, I'll just give you a little bit about her background. So Imbal is a well-loved, popular TV and radio celebrity psychic in the UK with appearances spanning over 24 years of experience. She deals in witchcraft, astrology, I think I said astrology, but tarot, and much, much more. And so we're really excited about hearing from her today.
Imbal, welcome. The way that you talk about things and the way that you're open about mysticism is quite fascinating. You talk literally about spells in your work. And I just thought it was just such a cool approach to just not hiding, not being woo, nothing, right? You're just like, here I am, and this is what this is. And with that
I think it's here I am, but this is where all of us are. Because I really don't think that manifesting belongs to a select few. I think anyone can train their brains to be able to influence things around them. And throughout, I would say, the very recent history, when the word witchcraft became so vilified and cartooned, then for a little while, you would refer to it as manifesting. And for a little while before that, you would refer to it as positive thinking. And all those things are just different masks that convey the exact same thing, where you might use different natural elements that would trigger a specific part of your brain that can influence things. And every thought has always had an outcome. Every thought has always had a result. So if I think I want to raise my hand and my brain sends a message to my hand and my hand goes up, I think that with the right training for the mind, you can also think, I'm going to have an amazing interview with you guys.
Yeah.
And that will happen. Or I can think I'm going to be successful in winning a sweepstake, or maybe something a little bit more wholesome. We're going to be successful in saving the planet. Any outcome that we want to work for, I really believe that we can use our minds, especially if we use our minds together as all of humanity, or as many of us as possible, and putting a barrier between what that is and what witchcraft is, that's a very artificial separation. So for me, witchcraft is the dictionary definition, causing desired change to happen in accordance with the will. That's what witchcraft is.
Wow.
And where it can become cartoonish is when you believe that witches are somehow individually evil or specifically wish for bad things. Does it happen? Can people wish for bad things? I suppose they can, but it wouldn't be very sustainable.
We do it unconsciously all the time.
And it's
I-
usually
well, you know,
sabotaging
some-
ourselves.
Some more than others. I have to tell you, when I got started in this way of life, several things happened at times when I was angry. There was somebody who used to be a bit of an uncomfortable presence in my life. I know she didn't like me. And then all of a sudden she broke her ankle. And I felt very guilty because I thought, what if my thoughts caused that? What if my mindset somehow contributed to a chain of events that ended up with her leg in a sling? And when things like that happen, if you're anywhere around normal, that will restrain you from thinking bad things at all. So I actually find, obviously, Jennifer, it's a really funny thing to say that we all wish bad things, especially on people that we perceive of as unjust or damaging to our environment, to other people's environment. But the more you are aware of, first of all, how we are all one as humanity.
Yeah.
And secondly, we've only got one planet.
Yeah.
I might not like you, but we both work towards the same outcome.
Yeah, we're still earthlings.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and we're still family. So the more we see that all of humanity is one, and the more we see that every thought has an outcome, the more our brains will have no interest in wishing bad on people, even as a joke, even as a point of reference. Does it mean that we're all striving to be perfect? No, just the best that we can be.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I channeled North Shore Damas in a big QHH2 project. Many people on this show know that in the audience, but one of the biggest key takeaways from that journalism project was that message from North Shore Damas basically saying, humans on Earth have no idea how powerful they truly are with the ability of their minds. And when one or two or more are gathered, and he said, in your sewing circles, you can view the opposite of some of, I know because we have sewing circles here today now, but you can be thinking about and set an intention for the opposite of some of the worst that he has shared. He says, I don't share this to scare anybody. I share this so that it can have awareness and so that we can be thinking an intention for the beauty of what could be, so that when we gathered, and I thought, I've just always reflected on that. And when I hear you say this about the mind and how we can be so powerful, and how definitely when we're gathered, it just reminds me that I may not even grasp how powerful we truly can be.
Oh, no. Oh,
Thank
no.
you.
I don't think any of us even has an inkling of it. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
I feel like she's definitely tapped into some of the essence. And I wanted to see what kind of gave you more faith in that. Like, what kind of gave you more belief or truth in that? Like,
I'm a very results-based person.
okay, yes.
I want to
Me
see
too.
it. So when I first got into witchcraft in a really teeny tiny way, it drove me crazy a little bit because I thought, should I get into it? Shouldn't I get into it? Should I get into it? Shouldn't I get into it? And eventually I said, you know what? If it's not right for me, it probably won't work anyway. So let's give it a bash. Let's give it a go. I have my moon in Sagittarius, so let's give it a go as the war cry, as the rallying cry of my life. Let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? And so I went, this is like the late 90s. There's no internet, there's no smartphones. I went to a bookshop, which for younger viewers, that's what we used to call Google. And in the bookshop, it was in the olden days, there wasn't a spirituality section.
True.
Yeah.
There wasn't a spirituality shelf. There was a world religions section. And in other, there were 3 books about witchcraft. One of them had curses in it. I cleaned my hands and put that back on the shelf. Not for me at all. One of them was actually Vivian Crowley's Wicca. So I'm trying to reach for it without stretching my back, and I don't think it's happening. Vivian Crowley's Wicca, which is a study of the religion around witchcraft. I took me a long time to read it because I'm not like an academic reader. And one of them was a book with spells. So Wicca and spells went home with me. And I went through it, and it was a while before I tried the first spell. When you do a spell, you might use the colors, right? So you'll take a red candle for a passion spell, or a green candle for a money spell. And those colors, what hit me is that they made sense. What color would you use for a happiness spell? I think a lot of people's happy color would be the same. And so the universality of the symbolism was fascinating to me. And then this is still the 90s.
Very true.
I decided to go for a love spell. What's the worst that can happen? And I lit a pink candle and went on the prowl and met somebody.
Like you're carrying a pink candle. Like, can I just get the visual of this?
Like, you did it in her house, I think.
You're not, you didn't go out
no, with a candle in my hand. Can you imagine?
Like, what? That might attract me. And just by him going, what the heck?
No, even in the open-minded London of the 90s, that would have raised some eyebrows. No, I lit a pink candle. I meditated on it. I had a little list of what I was looking for in a person. The list was shallow. It was just about what the person should look like.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
I like a bit of an accent. So I like redheads. So it was a very shallow list. And then when the candle was finished, I went on the prowl, because boys and girls do not leave a naked flame at home and then go outside. And that evening, I did indeed meet somebody that followed exactly what I had asked for. Wow. And I'm a results-based person. But it was also a really important lesson, because that evening I realized how my shallow list was useless when it came to magic, because it was somebody who looked exactly how I wanted him to look, had a little accent, was leaving the country the next day.
I gotcha.
And so I went back to the list and I added lives in the same region as me.
Yeah.
And while I was on the subject, then I also went for friendly, right? I don't want to date anyone grumpy. I'm a happy person.
Yes.
I went for family minded, because I think it's very nice to be with somebody who's got a good relationship with his mom. It's not a must for everyone, but it was nice. And my list became much longer, and my dating life became much more satisfying. But that was one time when I had like clear proof, or in my mind, clear proof. Let's call it circumstantial proof. It might not stand in a lab, but for me, as a 20-something-year-old Pisces living in London, it was great. And another time, I used affirmations to find my way to a specific sum of money by a specific date. I don't know if you want that story, because all my stories are really long and detailed.
Before you go on, though, the thing that when you were manifesting the man, I was going to ask, were you watching Practical Magic?
I love Practical Magic so much, but I think it was before Practical Magic. What's Practical Magic? 98,
93,
99.
I think. 92, 93.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this story is from 98.
You
But
might have
yeah, I
gotten
hadn't
one
seen
blue eye,
Practical
one
Magic by
brown.
then, but I love it so much. A
Oh.
lot of those
Oh.
movies, while we digress there, while we go there, a lot of those movies, Practical Magic, bits of Buffy, very much The Craft,
Yeah.
have so much that touches on real witchcraft that there would have either been an advisor
I'm
on set,
sure.
right? Or with
Yeah.
in the writer's room that would advise them, like, this would work, this wouldn't work, this sounds believable. Actually, is it not? I think I used to follow on Instagram the girl that advised on Practical Magic. Have you ever interviewed the Witch of Malibu, Donny Adams?
No.
Take notes. Take
Okay.
notes. Take notes. She is
Okay.
fabulous and stunning. You try and
Oh.
get.
Mm.
And in with The Craft, Nancy, the girl who plays Nancy, Firuza Balk, is famously also Wiccan, so she would have had input. But yeah, but with The Love Spell, I hadn't watched Practical Magic by then, would have
Yeah.
certainly
Kind of awesome.
involved that.
I just like to keep some people on their toes in the 90s because I know a little bit about it. I'm just like, so I talked with you as a pre-call and you said you could take some psychic callers, but I want to first open the door about your study with tarot and astrology and becoming a psychic medium. And I think you do mediumship as well from, is that right?
So it all started for me with the tarot, and specifically, I've always adored the Thoth deck. The
Uh-huh.
Thoth
Thoth
deck.
is coming up everywhere for me. Oh my
Is
God.
it?
Oh my
Welcome,
gosh.
welcome. Welcome to,
Cool, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
isn't it? So if you're a visual person, if you like colors, if you connect with the background of cards as much as the foreground, Thoth is so for you. When I started out, younglings, there weren't many options for tarot cards. There weren't as many decks as there are now by a long shot.
Yeah.
Every spiritual shop, which is, boys and girls, what we used to call Etsy, every spiritual shop would have a folder, like a paper folder, and there would be about 3 cards from each deck so that you could leaf through it and find which aesthetic you connect with. So it would usually be like 20, 30 decks, and that would be like a lot. The main 2 at the time were the Rider-Waite, as it was called. Correct to call it Rider-Waite Smith because the artist is Smith. Rider only published it, so barely deserves the title. So there was the Rider-Waite Smith, which will be familiar from advertising, from Bond movies.
Yeah.
It's the classic, the original. And then there would be the Thoth, where some things were switched around, so a few of the cards are not in the same place. The Thoth was a little bit more feminist in that the court cards were knight, princess, prince, and queen, so 2 girls, 2 boys, whereas in the Rider-Waite Smith it would be the page, the knight, the king, and the queen, so 3 boys and 1 girl. So the Thoth was a bit more feminist. This is again going back to binary genders, all those things that seemed so progressive 20 years ago are failing.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Right
Is
now.
I think I've heard it theorized that Thoth actually created the tarot or the reading of tarot as a practice. Do you have any insight on that? Am I right?
Not exactly. So if we go back a long time, the first mention that we have of tarot in literature is from 1444, from a book that encompassed all the kind of magics of that day. It was, I believe, written by Eliphas Levi, which was an assumed name.
Yeah,
I always
of
thought,
course.
oh, great, Jewish people like me were involved in it. No, it wasn't really Eliphas Levi, or was it Antoine de Cor de Jabelan? It was big names from the 1400s. And back then there was tarot deck, like the first mention of a tarot deck, it was not necessarily a future prediction deck, but it was a play, like it was a game, the Tarocchi. It was a game, and it would be used in the courts. It would be used in royal courts or like noble families. And the first deck that we hear of is the Visconti Sforza deck. For a little moment of horror there, I thought I would not be able to recall that and would out myself as an airhead that knows nothing. But no, the Visconti Sforza deck
Good job.
was created in Rome to commemorate the marriage of the Visconti family to the Sforza family. Again, we're going back to the days where a marriage was a business transaction of bringing the properties of one family together with the properties of another family. And it was a very ornate deck. And back then it would be used as a game, like I said, but it would have another use, which is for poets. So there would be poets in the court, and if they had, say, writer's block, they could pull out a tarot card and say, okay, we've got the Queen of Wands here, and the Queen of Wands characteristics are transformational and powerful and inspirational. Let's write about that. I could take another distraction again and show you an example of something, an experiment like that was done maybe 15 years ago. This is Tarot Poetics, and this is Anna McCarrow, who is a lovely author and poet, and she did a little exercise of pulling a tarot card a day and writing a poem. Yeah, I'll send her your way as well.
Yeah,
dude,
your friends and my friends need to get together. And so the most antique mass-produced deck that we know of is the Marseille, the Tarot de Marseille, that has different prints, different styles. And in the Tarot de Marseille, you have an artwork, like a beautiful drawing for each of the major arcana, the Emperor, the Empress, the High Priestess, the Fool. But when we come to the Four of Wands, all we have is like 4 wands crossed over. And when we've got like the 7 of Pentacles, we have a card with 7 pentacles. So that is still from the Middle Ages. And so Crowley will not have been born for many centuries. And so when we come a little bit closer to present day, the kind of resurrection of the art of tarot was created by the Western mystery traditions. That would be, if you've heard of the Golden Dawn Secret Society.
That's what came up for me. Or that's what I was feeling like. This was sounding very secret society. Yes. There's so much of it.
So not quite the Freemasons, but in the neighborhood of the same shelf in the bookstore that we mentioned. So the Golden Dawn was a very large secret society, admitted ladies, which was not obvious at the time. One of those ladies is Pamela Coleman Smith, who drew the art for
that's why you give her so much notoriety. Get it?
It all connects. It all connects. The universality, Lianka. That's what's so exciting. It all links with everything. And the Golden Dawn had several offshoots, because people are people, and when you have 2 people, they will inevitably disagree and create 2 groups out of it. And so we have the Rosicrucians, we have the OTO, the Ordo Templis, or I can't say it in Latin, but the OTO was Crowley's secret society. So Aleister Crowley had the OTO, and then not exactly within the OTO, but the development of the system, like the more modern system of the tarot, would take place in the Golden Dawn, but then each secret society, and coming up to present day nowadays, each artist, each mystic will have their own way of interpreting the tarot, because the beauty of the tarot, apart from universality, is how it has everything inside it. The tarot's got astrology inside it, every card has got an astrological meaning.
Yes, it
The
does.
tarot's got Kabbalah inside it, and
Uh-huh.
Kabbalah is so hard to understand. You have to spend your whole life trying to figure it out. But the tarot gives you a lovely window to check inside and see what goes on. Obviously, the colors, the classical elements, there's the symbols that are used in the tarot, the different ways that the genders relate to one another, the different ways that you can pick up on the seasons. Sorry, do you know what's
Yeah.
ironic? That I'm looking at the cards to inspire me to talk, and we were just talking about how the cards can inspire you
That's
to write
right.
poetry. And so, because the tarot was the first step for me, it was a huge step, because when
Yeah.
I afterwards came to look at astrology, it was already really obvious. I look at the sign of Aries, and I know that it is the card of the Emperor. And so all the qualities that I already know, that I've already worked with for years of the Emperor, are just superimposed on this new thing that I'm being introduced to, that's called Aries, and then superimposed on Aries' ruling planet, Mars. So astrology stemmed forth from that. Even going into magic, even going into witchcraft, was very strongly influenced by the tarot, because the tarot would inspire me to dream big.
I love that.
Yeah, my head as you're talking went back to the candles for a second. And I was thinking, gosh, you're like, if you would think of a happiness candle, what colors would you have? And wouldn't that be very much like somebody else? And I was thinking from a frequency point of view, it absolutely would, because that is how the chakras and I mean that color frequency and that spectrum of colors that is limited even in the human eye, I think, extremely limited. It just made me really tap back into that intuitive part. I'd like you to support the audience with some insights around how tarot, even your psychic abilities working with you might really shift and change things. Would, can you talk a little bit about how you work with somebody as a client
Would it be better to have to take a couple colors or
or that?
questions? So they
Yeah,
can actually
I
see
can.
your work. I think that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Let's
Do
do
you,
that.
do you have a way that you like them to ask a question?
So you go ahead and raise
No,
your hand
not
if you'd like
really,
that.
not really.
Okay.
I'm Pisces. I aim to please. Pisces is a very fluid sign, going
Okay.
with the flow. So it's actually one of my most exciting life lessons, to be available to different people and meet them where they are. So I never say no to a client because of like a time difference. It's fine. I'll stay up till 2 a.m. I'll wake up
Oh,
at 5.
really?
Australia, California, who cares? It's all,
Because
we're all on the same planet. And here
I
and
am
there,
not a
somebody would say,
Pisces.
sorry.
I said, I am not a Pisces.
She's like, not staying up for anyone. We all have our different gifts.
Yeah, everyone's got their own gifts, but
Yeah.
for me, accessibility and
Mhm.
approachability are so important for me, because I think by the time you come to a psychic reading, maybe things have already gone wrong for you. What you don't
Sure.
need, what you
Right.
don't need is for me to say, these are my times that I accept. Please speak to my online scheduler. I
Yeah.
have an online scheduler. I'm Pisces. I don't know how to log into it. I don't know. If
I
you
like
schedule
it.
something with me, please DM me. Please, I beg of you, DM me and tell me where you are, so that I can figure out the time zone and what, and what is good for you. Different
Okay.
people will ask their questions in their own way, and I get such a kick from relating to each person exactly where it suits them. I might not
Awesome.
be everybody's cup of tea, and that's really cool, but I do my best to answer in the same kind of vein that I'm
Yeah.
asked, you know what I mean?
Yeah. While we're waiting for some callers to come on, I wanted to play with a couple questions.
Yeah.
And one of the ones I want to play with is how in the witchcraft spelling or where arena would you work with somebody with a really strong limiting belief that actually gets their whole vigilance system up and tight? And
Are you asking for yourself?
For a friend.
I'm
Yeah, for the
asking
best
for
friend.
myself.
I get to be that person.
No, that's a really good question. And sometimes a spell will rise and fall over that limiting belief. But here is exactly why we have the tarot. So
Okay.
I feel like magic and prediction are two sides of the same coin. And
Yes. Even
if-
Nostradamus said it in
Yeah,
my session.
I think it almost
He was
exactly like that.
disappointed that I
right?
didn't know tarot and that more people in our day and age
They
didn't know
know.
astrology as well. So he was
Mhm.
disappointed that we didn't know tarot and astrology. And I was like, I better go figure that out then. I
yeah,
was like, that sounds important.
Yeah.
yeah. So you do a little reading beforehand, or you might start from a reading. And the first part of the reading would usually be elements and statements that the client already knows. And I feel like the tarot, just like any entity, wants for you to believe in it. So it'll give you some good stuff. It'll give you some what people like to call validations. A new word that we come up with.
ChatGPT does.
It was really, you can think of it as proof.
Yeah.
But I think the word proof is so legally protected, it's so specific that a new word had to be invented for it. So we have validations. And I used to work on psychic TV, and then people would pay by the minute. And they'd be like, quickly, can you give me some validations? Because they wanted to believe. And I'm like,
Yes.
So you just have to like
I'll do my best, but
validate
it's better
them.
if you ask a question.
Yeah.
No.
What do you want to have validated? So the start of a reading will be those sort of validations. It will
I
be
love that
the
part
tarot
though.
telling you stuff you already know.
Yeah.
Big part of the reading will
And
not surprise you at all. You know your life.
yeah.
But then we look at the future. And when we look at the future and see incredible things coming up for you, I think that breaks some brain barriers, because your brain goes, right, that part of the reading, the first part of the reading was correct, freakishly accurate. It was stuff she couldn't have known. How did she know that? And then the stuff that comes in the future, I don't think will happen because I don't think I'm good enough. But because the past stuff was correct, it's logical that the future stuff will be correct as well. And she saw all those amazing optimistic things for me. And I think
that's good. I get it.
Yeah.
Get it. Yeah.
I'm so glad you
through-
explained it that way.
Appreciate that.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Let's take a few colors. We're just need to watch time a little bit here. Dana, you're up.
Hi, everybody. So my question is from just yesterday. I had some really cool things happen. I had just gotten home and I opened my car door, and then there was like a 5-inch dove feather. And then next to it was a little baby white feather. And then my package on my front door had 444 on it, which is my numbers. And then about 20 minutes later, I was in my room and I looked up to the ceiling, and I could see a being's face, and it had all of my soul thread energies: indigo, violet, emerald, and white gold. But I couldn't really receive who it was or a message. So I was just wondering if you can expand on that for me. It felt galactic and looked it also. It was a hit.
Absolutely. They were clearly not leaving anything to chance, leaving you big feather, small feather, numbers, colors. They were like, Dana, we need to say something.
And there was a spider on my ceiling at the same time.
Oh, spider is good for money. Spider is a nice sign for money.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's have a look whether we can pick up on a who or on a It's not necessarily somebody who has passed, somebody who died. I feel like it's more of a spirit guide. Have you got native connections to the land? I'm seeing a kind of olive-skinned man on a horse with long hair. And I feel like he's passing you the message to say that the heartbreak that you had, the heartbreak that you had, is opening the door to a huge growth in your heart, that you had to basically have your heart pulverized
Yeah.
so that then it can be reconstructed into hundreds of times its size. And it's not just that it's love coming. I see you surrounded by like animals, babies. I feel like the love in your heart will make a difference to lots of beings, sort of living beings, not spiritual beings, lots of living beings who didn't receive love elsewhere, who couldn't receive love elsewhere. And because your heart has got mashed and then reconstructed into a colossus of a heart, you will be placed in a position where you will bring love to others, to the masses. I don't know if you do like heart-centered healing as a job, as a hobby, or if you are starting to train as, I don't know, like vet, psychologist, something in caring. But I feel like that is the message. And it's a lot of shouting by the universe for you to receive that message. So I'm guessing that they've tried to contact you before and you keep not picking up the phone, that they've tried to say to you, your heart is an asset. Your heartbreak was a portal. And you were just like, oh no, I'm just regular. I'm just a regular person. I'm just like everybody else. You're not like everybody else. I'm so
No,
sorry.
I get many signs, like starships, all kinds of signs. And yes, I'm about to have a divorce after 22 years. So that was one of my biggest teachers. I'm already over it. It's already energetically disconnected. So I did it backwards. Now it's just the physical I have to do. But I do know that, and I'm very heart based. Like my heart is huge. And so you were spot on for all of that, really. But I haven't been ignoring any messages. They're all just coming in, but I just feel like I'm in a prepping stage right now, still preparing.
Exactly. You're reconstructing now. You're reconstructing in the ether. And when things start rolling, they will be unstoppable.
Beautiful. I have chills. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And
That was
good
lovely.
luck for the divorce.
Yes, it's all good.
Paula, you're up.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I love that you're into astrology and tarot. I'm actually taking an astrology course right now, and I just found this great book on Chiron. And I've coming up on my Chiron return, and I've been feeling a lot of disconnect between trying to go deeper and also when I reach out for guidance, a lot of the times the response that I'm getting is I can't get guidance from anywhere else. So I'm just curious, any insight you have on that for me and how all of this maybe is like coming together or playing out, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
let's have a look, and good luck for your Chiron return. It's showing like a pendulum swinging back and forth. And those sort of swings and changes that you're going through, their job is to strengthen your core. It's to strengthen your core spiritually. And the more things go very wrong and then they swing back and they go very right, but like in an extreme way and back and forth, that's a pattern that is needed. You're in a spirit gym now and you're getting stronger. And the stronger your core is, the more stable you are becoming. And so this stability is something that you're pursuing. It's something that is like the outcome. Is your Chiron Taurus or Libra something stable?
No, it's Aries in my ninth house,
Oh,
conjunct my midheaven.
I think mine is Aries as well. I'm not like super on top of everything astrologically, but I remember looking into Chiron and Aries. Horror. So stability is the end result. Stability is the outcome. Every diversion that you have on the way there is part of the plan. It's not accidental, it's part of the plan. And it shows you in the end attaining that level of stability that will allow you into a position of it says judgment, and I know judgment is a really much maligned word, much maligned descriptor. No one wants to be thought of as judgmental, but that ability to judge, that ability to ascertain right from wrong can be put to good use in assessing situations, in teaching people how to work their boundaries. And in fact, I see you writing at least one book, although I'm starting small because I see a series of 4. So I don't know if it's one for each element or if one sort of grows into the next one, but I've got you writing. I've got the 4 of them, but all 4 of them are around the same topic. So that's why I see it as a series.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I've been told
Fabulous.
I should write books many times and I very much resist it. So that's good affirmation.
Yeah. Sometimes all you have to do is stop resisting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that easy.
Yeah.
I would like to take one more, and then I'd like to show people how they can work with you at a highly reduced price. Jen, you're up.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Jen.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. I'm a bit of a lost soul at the moment, and I just wondered if you could give me any direction at all, would be very much appreciated, please.
Let's see. Just ask for direction. You're feeling lost. Let's see how you'll be found. You know what? It doesn't show you as lost. It shows you as undecided. In
Okay.
any situation, you can think of 2 good solutions, very rarely fewer than 2 or more. So you can see the way forward. It's just that you can see too many ways forward. And I don't even want you to narrow them down. Just start one of them and do another one later, and maybe even another one after that. I feel like you're lost because you're trying to find a thing that is like perfect for you. But for some people, it's not just one thing. You could have a whole array of things that are perfect for you. And I'm seeing you going into studying or mastering 3 different things. 2 of them are like artistic, creative, and one of them is more like academic. So one is like a studies. The other one is like the other 2 are like courses, like practical courses. And I see you putting all of them together, and I see you going eventually in a creative direction, but it's a creative direction that will be much better received, that you'll feel a lot more confident through having like an academic certificate as well. If you're looking at this or that, A or B, the answer is both. The answer is A and B. Really fascinatingly, your outcome card is the High Priestess, which is one of the most aligned, one of the most spiritual, one of the most psychic cards in the whole deck. And it's not just a priestess that can create things and manifest things and live that spiritual life, but it's one who can teach that as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Very much. Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring up your package just so everyone can see where it is and what's happening here. Why don't you tell them just a little bit about what it is like to work with you? After the rain comes the rainbow.
As you can see, I'm an optimist. I'm a positive person.
I love that.
This is not a mask. This is not a mask. This is actually who I am. And if it looks like it's very easy to be that, let me tell you, it's not always very easy to be that, because
I'm so that way.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, you know that first of all, you can come across as really false, whereas the only face I've got. But also, when you're an optimist, you really believe that any news is good news. So even when you give somebody, absolutely stinking news, you still think, no, it's great because you're moving forward and it's the next step and you're not staying stuck where you are. So working with me is a bit of that. I am a results-driven person. I like to see a confirmation, a yes. I like to see that you are able to change things. Sorry, as you're scrolling it up.
Sorry, I didn't know you were following along.
I'm not even that much of a leopard person. I'm more of a pink.
That's funny.
But for me, working with me, I like to come in and meet you where you're at. So if you need a reading that is about practical, pragmatic answers, I'll go with that. If you need spiritual guidance to see where your life is leading you, let's do that. I like looking at the future, but if you prefer to look at the past and see what went on with that old relationship and what you were supposed to learn there, because a nightmare, it didn't feel like a learning curve at all, we'll do that. So I like to keep things very flexible. If you come to me without a specific angle, without a specific agenda, what I do is start with a general reading, bit of past, present, future, romantically, where you're headed to, what your personality is right now, what your personality has always been, what you're afraid of. And then we go into your love life, we go into your work life. I don't shy away from finances or health. And then we'll look at the future. So what I've got for your guys and gals is a 45-minute reading for the same price of a half-hour reading. So that's my special offer. It never happened before, so it's really unique for your guys. And
thank you.
And another special thing is that I know that all my clients in the States are always having to like convert the currency. So this is the first offering ever that is in dollars.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's very generous offer, and I can definitely see the benefit that one would get in just spending a little bit of time with you here today. We know the people that ask the questions, they're part of our inner circle, and we get to speak with them, hang out with them once every month.
And it was just like,
you respond.
Okay. Yeah, that was just it was just that, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a final ask for you, and maybe your final sending off, I'm curious from an energetic perspective and a psychic perspective, where do you see humanity going? And as far as the ascension, like what does it look like to you?
I'll tell you, if you switch on the news or a little bit, open your front door, there are bad news everywhere. And it can be so disheartening and really difficult to stay optimistic. But nonetheless, I am still an optimist, and I see that more and more people are open to spirituality and to accepting their fellow humans as they are. I feel like we are being shown division, but the people that want division are probably selling something and are a minority. They might be a very loud minority, they're a minority. And when you meet people, human beings, things are all right. We speak more languages where we have more variety in ways to connect with people. I think that the positives, even the positives from the digital age, which I'm not a super huge fan of because I'm Pisces and Pisces are analog people, but even the digital age and the negatives that it brought us, the positives far outweigh it. I do think that as we progress as humans, slowly we will become a much more cohesive planet that is happy to share in each other's cultures and viewpoints and understandings. I don't ask anybody to get on board my positivity train because that is for me to deal with. But I see a lot of things, even though I do watch the news, which I know a lot of spiritual people
I do
not
too.
right.
Yeah.
Goodness me, what is going on? But even through those, I see a lot of stuff to be
Yes.
positive about, a lot of
Yes.
stuff
Yes.
to feel thankful about. And really, as a final thought, my first attempt at creating magic was, funnily enough, when my friend from Argentina that worked for me in London in the 90s bought me the experiential guide of the Celestine Prophecy. Who was not into spiritual stuff at all at the time. She grew up reading tarot and runes like from the womb. And she gave me that. And the first thing I tried was a feeling of thankfulness, and of expectancy. Is it a positive expectancy and a excited expectancy? And it works. If you can't open your chakras, that's fine. If you can't visualize, that's fine. If you can't read the tarot, it's all right. It's hard. If you can connect to your heart and feel that state of excitement and enthusiasm and thankfulness and gratitude, that is enough to create miracles. The more of us that do it more frequently,
Yes.
that puts you in that energetic groove that will make amazing things magnetize to you.
Yes, it's that heart coherence always, isn't it? Wow.
God, you're so amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some words from the chat that says, oh my gosh, this was such a great call today. Thank you. Love your positivity, your Piscean energy. I have to run to another class, she said. And thank you, Imbal. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're fascinating. Very cool. Love that for you. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, girls.
Just a couple announcements. Next week, we've got Katie Sutton coming back. And if you met her on the summit, she was really one of our stars. So please join us next Tuesday at 9 a.m. on Zoom. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. And we appreciate new followers, and we'd love your comments on these YouTubes as well.
That's right. We also have a live event coming up. It's November 7th through the 9th. It will be here in Austin, Texas. And we're going to be doing it from retreat style, working with bodies and really taking some of these topics and these like very esoteric, bigger ideas and bringing them into embodiment. How do we use them? How can we use them to benefit our lives, our everyday livelihoods? And how can we really be okay in our body? I think that one of those things that we always come up with, and when we can step into our body, we find that we are much more whole and we feel a sense of worthiness. So that'll be really fun. We'll do a little bit of QHHT. Jonathan's got some really fun awesomeness that she does with Body Works. And if you want to check out, she's got some really great videos that she's done and some of her other retreats. And I was privileged enough to be able to work in her business at that time. Take a look. I think you're going to be really excited to see. Also, Jen had put a really beautiful a kind of newsletter out on Sunday, really describing kind of the way that you would feel. I really highly recommend go look in your email if you didn't see it. Read through it. I want y'all to, if you
Get the
can't,
vibe.
if you can't make it this time, I want you to know what would be available for next time too. But just go through it, really step into it, even read like a meditation.
Yeah.
So open that one. I think it's really pretty. If you want to just even take the journey with her on it for your own self, just for some good reading.
Tickets are on sale through the end of the month. So if you want to get a discount ticket, get it before October 31st. And we are going to have another summit in between.
Right, so we fully booked this summit. It is going to be 3 speakers a day. We get started at 9 a.m. Pacific. They go for about an hour each. And really, this is going to be taking, again, really talking about embodiment here. This is really a lot about the body and how we can, again, take some of these ideas and really bring them into factual things that we can do, everyday practices, rituals even. We've got tons of great speakers. All of our favorites are coming back and some new ones too. We'll put a whole new lineup together here probably in the next couple of days, and we'll release that soon. So again, it's always free. All you have to do, and if you're listening on YouTube, All you have to do is just sign up to be on our newsletter and you'll get the information, but it's at www.hautehustle.com. That's HAUTEHUSTLE.com in case you're listening on audio.
Excellent.
Also, if you're looking for any of the information that we've shared here, everything will be shared in all of the descriptions, including how to get a session with Imbal.
Very nice.
Wanted to remind you that a portion of proceeds always goes back to benefiting, and we do benefit women and youth-related causes. Right now, we are benefiting rising.up.org, and it's a nonprofit organization that's started by children who take laptops and tablets, refurbish them, and to give to other students in need. So just wanted to let you know a little bit about the causes that we're working with and how we benefit everyone. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. You're the biggest piece of our hearts. And we just wanted to tell you, to remind you, thank you for taking a little time to enjoy the woo.
Bye, everyone.